Well, I'm here at Fort Bridger in Lyman, Wyoming. I guess I got here a week too late. Curator said everything is locked up, shut down. So I'm the only one here, except the curators who are going around doing ground services and starting to take all the artifacts back to safer protection for the winter. So I'm just going to wander around here and explore the place on my own. So come along. There's a lot of history here. I'm just going to take my time and read all the signs here and wander around kind of aimlessly, but I plan to see everything. Something unique I've never seen anywhere else is they have signs also in Braille for people to read. That really amazes me. Here's a little area here where they had the Fort Ice House, where their carriage repair was, and the Pony Express store. Here it talks about the Pony Express, who ran through this territory as long as it was active. Since everything is locked up, you can't go inside, but you can at least look in the windows and see what there is. But this is the first schoolhouse in Wyoming. So we'll look inside, see what you can see. This is quite a vast expanse of area. Like I said, over 30-some acres. There's more history here than you'll probably see in most any place. This is beautiful. The aspens are starting to turn golden color, quaking in the wind. Fits right in with all these old structures of the 1800s. Since I'm on my way to pick up my own Irish Setter puppy, when I saw this grave dedicated to a dog that the soldiers had found roaming loose and then kept, that helped them be warned of any Indians coming, helped them catch a thief in the store here, and they have a dedication to that dog for everything it did for them. That was loved and honored by all the soldiers and settlers here at Fort Bridger. You can read this and learn about the dog's importance and its history. Well, like I said, I got here a week too late. Everything's shut down, closed up, locked up, but at least we can still look in the windows. So I'll take photos of some of these buildings here and show you the pictures of looking in the windows so you guys can at least see what's in here and get an idea of how much there is to come and explore here at Fort Bridger, Wyoming. Along this path is where all the officers' quarters were, made out of a log and frame from 1858 to 1890. There's quite a few of them. And as always, the commanding officer has the most luxurious house on the entire grounds. Let's see if we can look inside. Here's the Carter family cemetery. The Carters were the first millionaires in Wyoming, comparable to what Bill Gates is today. This is so surreal. I'm the only one here in the entire complex. There's a creek going through the middle of the field here with bridges over it. And I feel as if I can imagine the soldiers and pioneers back so long ago walking through the fields to their buildings, living life in the wilderness and at peace with nature. Here is the museum. Many of the items are being taken out and put in storage for the winter because the areas have to be climate controlled to preserve the artifacts. Let's go look in the windows though. Well, it seems the windows are so dark I can't see anything looking through them. So I'll just have to wait till I come back here next spring in May when it opens, and then return during Labor Day for the Mountain Man Rendezvous, where this town of a few hundred swells to over 20,000 people. Well, at least we can go down here to a replica of Jim Bridger's original trading post. But first, let's look in some other buildings. This is the commissary from 1867 to 1887. Let's see what it's like inside. This is behind the museum and the commissary here. It's what's left of the Mormon wall. I'll zoom up and take a picture of the plaque so you can read that. But there are ruins of a lot of buildings around here still. Kind of reminds me of Fort Bowie in Arizona. A lot of history in these old West forts. This is something for you to zoom in and read about how forts really were. Not like TV. This is forts when they were first built. Keep the Indians and the wildlife out. And I'm sure this replica has seen better days, but it'll give us an idea of how real pioneers, the turn of the 1800s, lived on this wide open land. This reminds me of the Fort Clatsop buildings in Oregon, where Lewis and Clark spent their winter when they first made it to the Pacific coast. Very small, very simple fort, but it gave them protection against the elements and the wildlife. This first was a place for traders and trappers, and the more business that came through as the Morman Trail, the California Trail, and the Oregon Trail came through, it became a booming business. Here's the blacksmith shop where they forged all the stuff they needed out of metal and steel. And here's the guardhouse where the guys that got in trouble were kept. Doesn't look as bad as the guardhouse they had on the submarine base I was stationed at in San Diego. That was run by Marines. And they had the prisoners out there with pitches breaking down a rock wall and on bread and water. There's no messing around back when I was in the military. No pansies or anything. It was either you grow up and be a man or you get washed out. Okay, well, let's look inside and see what this looks like. Well, I'm just about out of power on this cell phone of mine. There's so much here to see. It's a huge area, and there's a few buildings left, but markers everywhere of how big this place once was. So I can see when they have their rendezvous here, Memorial Day, this place is packed, just packed with mountaineers and traders and mountain men all reliving the 1800s. But it's just really eerie being here by myself, going through these old buildings from the 1800s to the present. Oh, well, there's a few more things up here, because once the railroad was in and the highway was in, they built the Lincoln Highway. I think it was the first interstate highway from coast to coast built. And they have some cabins up here where people in their little old timers, shall we say, traveling the Lincoln Highway, pulled in and could spend the night. Let's go take a brief look at that before this thing runs out of juice. These are the cabins they had when the Lincoln Highway was built, the interstate between the East Coast and the West Coast. That's all you needed, just a place to park your old timer and a nice bed for $1. And these are the restored cabins that were along the Lincoln Highway back in the 20s. And there's my cabin on wheels. Quite a change.